We got these moringa trees going out. Got the baby moringa. Look at all that. Isn't that nice? Check out these sunflowers. You know, these guys, got a couple of them shipping out. Welcome to Go Greenlight. Go Greenlight to infinite freedom, end of all slavery. So if you haven't yet, go check out and watch part 6, 5.5, there's 7, this is 8, and it's really going off the ground and getting a lot of exposure, so I appreciate everybody who is sharing, getting this message out as it is epically intended to be. We are all intended to enjoy freedom in its full state from nature. As you know, many people will find, of course, going out in nature is where all freedom alludes to. So it's a great, great thing. I can't find the one with the glasses, so we're going to try the one we had last night. The tropical one is not on this phone. I thought I'd put the golden one on there because we're in the golden age, golden era, which is way cool. I hope everybody can hear me. Today we have as well, check out our website, we have a lot of information about these topics, alluding to peace and serenity. Of course, my intention is to bring forth heaven on earth. And that's the beauty of what we're doing. But we got Blue over here, the talking canary. Okay, let's see here. Abbaboobo, E.G.Plott, the BlackSunBABY, coming to you live, the efficacies of the Abbaboobo. So appreciate y'all for watching, supporting this whole broadcast. I'm shocked we reached 110 million people in the past collections at the Plott Palm Trees productions. Now moving to the efficacies of Abbaboobo. One of the hit things we got new is the amazing white Kawakura, which is also known as the Mangosteen morifica, which is a plant which helps take phytoestrogens, pulls the fat, regulates estrogen levels, and allows women's, well, we see an increased or enlarged enhancement in breast, the buttocks, and thighs. With this natural formulation powder, you can ask me for more. We've sold this. It's 100% natural herbs, as we are #1 ranked online raw superfood store in the nation. So I thought I'd throw that out there because it's a new, kind of a seemingly new thing. When people ask me about, you know, different health formulations, natural routes, whether it's natural face serums and nature face lifts and what have you, stuff like that is pretty, you know, amazing. Also, the moringa, of course, can eat the fresh raw leaves. So I'm going to jump right in. This time we have our whiteboard. I don't have my green marker today. Go Greenlight to infinite freedom. This is probably going to be backwards anyway. I should start learning how to write backwards, huh? Well, whatever I write, I'll pull the camera up here and we'll look directly at this board here. Okay. So we have that. Make sure to check out all the hundreds of videos on the efficacies of Abbaboobo. We are definitely bringing into overcoming death, the black sun, or the death reaper in this case. So this is great. This is actually how you overcome adversity and become set free. We have the 33rd degree Masonic organization of the 12, what is known as the Order of the Black Sun Occult, in our pocket. Check out our videos. Again, we had 800 videos that were removed. I had 233 videos on the Vimeo channel permanently disabled, so we're not going to let this, of course, stop what our actual initiative, purpose, divine calling intended to do, one iota, as that is the whole purpose of all this, is to go through these trialing adversities and tribulations. So with that said, we're going to jump right back in on number 8, Go Greenlight to Infinite Freedom, the end of all evil. Sure, yes, you can share this, and thank you for all the likes and support. You guys rock. You know I love you. Divine serenity and peace in all this. So the last thing we had was simplicity. We talked about democracy, freedom, things such as that, how to overcome these different maladies in the matrix demiurge that we're currently in. Let's see. I may actually pan over here. It would be possibly easier for me. You can see. Whoa, baby. I'm going to jump right into this sucker. Alright. I'm not too stunned that we had such good results from this segment in the series, as this is a topic that a lot of people want to know more about. I actually can hit this light. Okay. Got the moringas, and we got these different plants. Got the moringa right here. That's awesome. Put them over here. Kind of see. Okay. Just let me know if you can't hear it, and do something about that. Got my water. Don't forget to check out all the educational videos I have on moringa, which Moringa oleifera is the most nutritional and antioxidant-rich plant ever discovered. Nothing in the plant or animal kingdom even come remotely close to the nutritional content of this one plant. Okay. And I got a rag over here. I'll be able to use this for visuals. I'm a very visual individual. Isn't that right, Blue? Blue can be very talkative. So, here we go. I'm going to jump right in because I like to keep it short, sweet, and simplex, of course. And this is the end of all evil. Go Greenlight to infinite freedom. Because we know the infinite source that made us, that we made all things, only wants the best for you and the best for everybody. Any sort of suffering or pain created out of such construct is within your own negative conscious development. So the subconscious has every route that you're supposed to take to avoid suffering, pain, heartache, and sure enough, no, any of the routes taken in this matrix demiurge are not of nature and is not your full potential or calling. And let me prove this to you. Do people want to be enslaved? There's a lot of instances where people believe such things. But to believe such things would be insane madness. So let's just jump right in and talk about why that is. Okay? Okay. Now, we already talked about simplicity, so we are going to get into the pattern of liberty, right? Okay, Thank you all so much again for watching, and all the subscribers. We're getting hundreds of new viewers every day, so I love that. The pattern of tyranny, however, next to liberty, has repeated itself throughout history. It cycles in every instance of evil, large and small. The pattern of liberty, however, is a singular flow that has been progressing slowly since the beginning of time. Evil has been on earth as long as man, as we have created such thing as evil, the opposite of living. The tactics of evil have changed infrequently, and only to do so when forced by progress of liberty. Every time liberty has progressed, one of these ideas or concepts of evil has died. When cultural control, which are both interchangeably the same, over people is broken, the pattern of liberty takes another step forward, and culture has been forced to adapt to maintain control, or culture, over people. So what we're doing here, and by you sharing, this is actually going to destroy or end all the evil. Okay, it's going to destroy this matrix demiurge. That's how simple it is to do. Okay, by using threats of death, torture, mutilation, imprisonment, every kingdom on earth has prospered. Okay, so war creates the empires, created all the empires in history, and culture preserved them. All who would not submit to the rule of law were killed. Okay, all who did not submit to the rule of law were killed. Okay, such ignorance of power, right, of the culture is a thing of the past. And hold on, let me move this guy forward a little bit. There we go. So modern technology, brought by increasing degrees of freedom, is allowing the people of the world to see culture for what it is, right? The pattern of liberty shows that freedom has progressed throughout history. While cultures around the world teach that evil is control, is strengthening, the pattern of liberty shows clearly that evil is weakening, and the pattern of liberty predicts the ultimate failure of culture and the ultimate end of evil. So yes, this system as well will fall. It already is on its way. This is the end of the road. Okay? Because it's evil. Anything not evil is bliss and heavenly serenity, and it is good. Progress throughout history, the pattern of liberty tracks the destruction of ideas and empires throughout history. It also tracks the progress of principles and technology. Remember, principles is what thwarts the tyranny of authority. Authority does not use principles because principles are truth. Authority uses laws, or morae, social norms, and things such as this. They use law because they have to lie. They have to lie by promising freedom and liberty when such things are neither. But they are slavery. And as we have well established, if you watch the parts 1 through 7 now, and 8 here, we all know that slavery is evil. Authority, law, bureaucratic societies, democracy, these are all evil constructs of this system matrix demiurge that we're currently in right now. Okay? So, how do we end all evil? Collectively, returning back to infinite source, Mother Earth, is the solution for all of this. Okay? And we do this collectively as one. Within solidarity, we all mature or evolve like a caterpillar in a chrysalis that is metamorphosizing to our final full form of becoming a butterfly. Okay? Just as the wisdom of the ebb and flow of the wise serpent. The snake sheds its skin and becomes like a new creature. After it sheds its skin, it's off with the old, and a new life and beginning is to come for prospering. Okay, so how do we do this, right? It's actually quite simple. All we have to do is make it to the end, right? Make it through this life. As we make it through this life demiurge, the completion is on the other side. So, dare I say, every single thing you're doing doesn't matter. What you're willing to create, what you're willing to build and pass down to your children is obviously of the utmost importance. But what if I were to tell you that this system is set up and devised that if you do not teach your children the corruption and evil of the education system and the careers and the occupation, which is slavery, that if they do not follow in the same footsteps as their father or mother and follow into what we think of as a social norm construct of evil or, to maintain this system, then they as well, our children, will not have the same life that their inherited family or parents had. So you end up being rejected, and culture has already been trained, indoctrinated, groomed, socially engineered, and brainwashed to peer pressure or devalue the so-called hermit or druid, the one who goes against the mold or thread. In military, you call it a grunt, someone who leaves the military after they found it's not fit for them, it's wicked, it's evil, to kill and promote war and famine and death for absolutely no reason other than profits of corporate interest and banking cartels, which are all meticulously compartmentalized. So when we know that the system construct is indeed corrupt to the core, it is pure evil, how then do you continue to justify and rationalize taxation and paying taxes? You support and advocate a broken system, demiurge of evil, right, that oppresses other nations and innocent, poor, indigenous people who wish to live in nature, which is the only perfect system that works, going back to a bartering trade system and abolishing taxation, government, religion, belief systems, and orientation is just a start. Returning to the Garden of Eden, which is right in front of us. We've been lied to and told we do not deserve grace at the garden, that we had to flee from our grace, our garden, a paradise. And we were ashamed of our nakedness because we ate of the tree of wisdom and knowledge. We saw these things, right? And were expelled into slavery, into the sweat of our brow, right? No, this is all a belief system by which your government has meticulously designed for people to be socially controlled into actually trading or giving up their freedom for a belief system that one day you'll inherit the Garden of Eden or heaven in the afterlife. But in the meantime, these very satanic or evil men and women who created these beliefs, who wrote these books, these holy books, and set the standard guidelines for these books that you need to slave and work, and by God's grace you'll be blessed. These men are the people who get to live their kingdom of heaven here on earth now. They only have power, wealth, fortune, and control due to the wealth that they've passed down to royalty, and this is why they keep it in their family bloodlines. The blue bloods, the royal elite, the Vatican, which actually supports these type of ideas, they know very well how to keep all men, all of humanity down, just enough where you're slaving 9 to 5 and you're barely making ends meet. If they were fair and balanced about this, everyone would have money and would be free. They cannot have that, so they've created a very complex structure to make you think that it's obtainable if you adhere to the rules, the mores, the norms of the social engineered culture. This is why culture is control. It is a lie. Therefore, it is evil. So this is how you break the constructs of culture. So we're going to look at the different things in that. We're going to jump right back in and say, through the progress of such principles, they used to threaten, right, with imprisonment. Oh, even growing a plant. Oh my goodness, you are a grown adult human God person yourself. You have all infinite freedom. This is your earth. This is our rivers. This is my skies. This is my soil. These are my plants, right? But as soon as they're actually all of ours, when we realize we are all one in the singularity sense, this abolishes all divisions, all constructs of illusion. Illusions are not real, okay? So therefore, religions and these barriers, these separators of nations, these fences, these walls, these are illusions. You can't claim a piece of land, put a flag on it. This is not yours. This is Mother Earth. We are all a fingerprint of the Creator. So whether you like it or not, your selfish construct, egotistical, megalomaniac, psychotic ways of control will be destroyed. They will be removed, one shape, form, or another. There's no two ways about it either. So this is the progress we say through history, where again I say the principles have not kept up with technology. Ethics have not kept up with technology. So they are not beneficial. Therefore, it's safe to say remove the technology until technology can keep up with ethics and morals. Okay? So gunpowder, one of the defining technologies that dramatically altered the scope of culture was gunpowder. Prior to its availability, only those who, could amass strong armies could effectively defend their land and families, right? Okay, I think we're back. So that was the ones who could have, effectively defend their family at all odds. This meant that people were heavily at the mercy of governments and kings. Once gunpowder became available, even small blends and bands of families could challenge the mighty castles. Right, the peasants could take down the empire. Gunpowder reshaped the kingdoms of earth by empowering people to challenge the violent control employed by lords of war. Okay? And then, of course, in history you have the printing press. Okay? So the printing press reshaped the nature of culture unlike nothing the world has ever seen, which eventually evolved into things such as social media and Facebook, the internet, and on down the line. Before its invention, almost nobody knew how to read, even. It was simply too expensive to own a book. Once the cost of printing dropped, literacy skyrocketed. Information was standardized on a scale unknown in all of history. It became much more difficult for cultures to center their power on the ignorance of people, or ignorance, because you ignore this knowledge. And worse off is nescience, which is hidden information from the people. And religion was dominated by those who could control the scriptures. Okay, this is why there's so many revisions of the Helios Biblios slave manual, the Negro slave book. Okay, which I'm going to show you a documentary that proves that as it happens. With this power, they were able to influence the political freedoms and even the very lifestyles of people. The Bible was the first book printed and soon spread far and wide. Through the Roman Church, had men killed for translating the Bible. And it was into native languages, such as English even. Eventually, it became available in every language on earth, right? So that was the theocratic power of the Christian world fragmented the people to choose to pursue divergent ideas, right? Hold it up here. That's easier. See, the printing press was the foundation of technology. Okay. So whereas, mathematics, engineering existed in the strength of different areas of history, but they never survived. War destroyed the information learned, right? After the printing press, so many copies of books could be maintained that human knowledge persisted in writing and spread as fast as the thirst for its demand. The Great American Experiment, listen, this was an interesting time in history, because the Great American Experiment was proof for the world. It dared to call the bluff of culture and test what people would do with liberty, right? Whereas culture had long taught the people were not able or worth of ruling of their own lives. The American Rebellion taught people that they were fully able to live life without a king, right? They taught by their actions and writings that men were taught that they were worth more than governments. The experiment in freedom lived past its first test. As they defended the armies of King George, the shock that rang through the world, it was enough to shatter the bonds of culture, of royalty, and that had enslaved the earth for thousands and thousands of years. Okay, so then it leads me to what I was just talking about. Internet, right? We all obviously are in that headspace currently. If you're watching me, you're on the internet. And if you are, thank you so much for watching. And, like I said, go back out in nature, ground, go on a camping trip, and sleep outside, barefoot, gaze at the sun. These are good, healthy things that we have definitely thrown away, or to the side at least. And, these things are good for your health. They're necessary, and it is naturist. It is intended what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. So it leads me to my next point about internet. It's the modern computing power that has destroyed cultural ignorance once and for all, right? Like the printing press before it, the internet made it possible the widespread dissemination and near indestructibility of information, right? The bonds of culture are founded in the control of speech and control of the mind. When people are free to speak what they think, people learn wisdom at the astonishing pace. For cultures to succeed, they require imposed ignorance and cultivation of planned thought. As soon as people question the rule of law, authority is lost. Right? I think we got connection. Shift. I don't know, they keep cutting me off. The cultural shift away from intellectual property is the telltale sign of the end of the government rule. In the past, information was regarded as owned by the people who developed it, right? This meant that anyone who attempted to use the information could be punished by the violence of law. The future holds a shift in thinking that few will be willing to accept until they see it happen. Intellectual property is not a principle, since it must be enforced by restricting the liberties of people. It is the idea and construct of law. The shift that awaits the world is one of the impossibilities of enforcement. Law will struggle mightily in defense of authority and taxability, but will ultimately always lose. This is the power of global communication and information retention. Nearly every law will become impossible to enforce. The principles of commuting power given the freedom necessary for people to escape tyranny. Okay? So all evil in law does fall. That's the story of tyranny since day one. And democracy is about to be destroyed and fall as well. Violence replaces culture. When culture breaks down and authorities they protect are threatened, violence grows. Violence is a necessary component of control. Violence enforcement is necessary to ward off sedimentation, okay, like a sedimentation. Violence changes the dynamics of making the cost of freedom death. Every time the pattern of liberty has progressed throughout history, violence has increased. The future will be no different. As people learn about freedom and see what is possible in their own lives, evil will clamp down. Authorities will employ greater degrees of violence as they lose their grip on power. This is the death of a culture or control. This is the meaning of war. As final step, the most oppressed cultures on earth will lose adherents the quickest, and those cultures will produce most violent crackdowns. One of the evidences of this violence is terrorist attack. Those in modern times are no different from terrorist attacks in history. Oppressed by peoples do not want to be oppressed. So oppressed peoples do not want to be oppressed, of course. When they learn of freedom, they speak more of it for their own lives. Evil controls or cultures always demonize freedom. Because the United States of America has been historically freer than other places, it is attacked by terrorist regimes in an attempt to teach enslaved people that freedom is weakness. They teach that freedom is depravity and insecurity. Such attacks have nothing to do with the people being attacked. They are about maintaining the grip of cultural slavery over oppressed peoples. The violence of dying cultures, controls, can destroy millions of lives, but it never lasts long. Earth's era of wars is over. The rapid pace of nation creation and destruction is evidence of the accelerating pace of the pattern of liberty. New cultural twists invented by evil men are discovered and crushed. Which leads me to technology and population. So technology and population growth endangers tyranny. All the major tyrants in history have sought to limit growth. Births expand the human experience and teach people about opportunity, hope, and faith. This freedom is not conducive to slavery. The more people that live in a culture, the more dissent you will find. It is nearly impossible to control large numbers of people with primitive cultures. One of the evidences of the completion of the pattern of liberty is the astounding population of Earth. This matrix demiurge by which we created just keeps making us stronger the more suffering and pain we endure for the next matrix. Some call the fifth dimension, however you want to look at it, this next life in Shambhala that is to come. So technology endangers evil of its use, implication, and imagination are diametrically, the opposite of evil. Technology is born of freedom. Freedom brings wisdom to people who implement learned principles and practical solutions. This search for wisdom teaches people the value that they have within themselves. It teaches them to stretch the limits of their intelligence and faith. This is more than concerning to the control of authority. It is the death of evil. The use of technology enables the evasion of authority, which is lies. One powerful example of this evasion of taxation, governments are institutionalized extortion. When technology allows people to remove the control of money from government hands, taxation becomes impossible. Advanced encryption and anonymous peer-to-peer networking technology allows for exactly this. Economic exchanges are freed from the bonds of legal tender and regulation. The future of technology brings the impossibility of tracking money and enforcing taxation. This transition will be marked by violence as governments try to salvage their monstrous rates of extortion. The comforts and prosperity of technology demonstrate to the world what the fruits of freedom are. It is entirely impossible to hide from culturally enslaved peoples the glory that is human life. We are all gods, free to make our own choice and create things. So why would one unionism is weakened, theocracy is dying, democracies are bankrupt, violence will mark the transitions, but freedom will prevail. Will prevail once again. As I say, the American dream. Right? God bless America. And God is yourself. See, where people would be free from the interference of government. America, the dream, that one freedom to pursue joy and happiness. Today, culture teaches that the American dream is a specific and tightly defined perspective on the perfect life. And that the reason the United States of America is great is because it has the ability to create that life for you. Culture perverts everything good. The American dream is not an American dream. The great American experiment brought massive liberty to the people of America, more than it had seen at any other time or place on earth, except from nature. The Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the very action of rebellion against a king taught the people of the world the Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, and the very action of rebellion against the king taught the people of the world that government had no natural right over them. may end up, there we go. Abbaboobo. Just take one little break here. Okay, I'm back, y'all. And actually, I'm going to plug that sucker up. I thank y'all so much for sticking around. Okay, so we got that taken care of. Peace, serenity of me. Dua, 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 namasta. So, nothing like key lime to activate the brain. Don't forget to watch my series on how angstroms are actually what make our brain function, which is found in fruits. Things such as that. Alright. Sorry about that. This is where we can be. Live off the land, live in nature. Even if it's a jungle, fresh forest, you name it. It's where we can actually thrive. So imagine for a second, you have a nicer, a cheaper, maybe a tiny home. Tiny homes are becoming very popular. You don't leave as much of a, earth footprint with a smaller home or design, and it's all of nature. And then imagine you had 2 acres, as all land is your own. You can squat off the land. In certain areas in Central America that I'm talking about, there are 80% of the land is uncharted territory, meaning nobody has regulation or control or culture or demand on it. Okay? That's where you can find your freedom. Okay? So imagine, if you will, out in nature, all you have to do is sow a seed. So by planting a seed, you plant a future. Okay? And you can find mature trees, you can find deals, barter with people, trade. It's a beautiful thing. It really, really, truly is. And it's a remarkable process that you can experience, and adventurous at that. And that's actually the only thing we're called to do as nature creatures ourselves. And you know this. It's innately wired in your very own makeup. It's genetically in your DNA to process this, where finding mangoes and coconut trees and letting go, allowing the hippocampus, the two parts of your brain, to electrically connect, making that ringing in the ears, the connection with Mother Earth, Gaia, the Black Sun, or you can call it God. This is why you see a lot of people go to the church, say, Father, or priest, or preacher, pray for me. I don't understand why things aren't working out for me. Because, see, in a system like this, a matrix, it's man-made, not, relying on the production and abundance of Mother Earth, God, the Creator, the Black Sun, Sophia, Aurora Borealis. When you no longer rely on that, then how can you have blessings and favor come to your way? Okay? The only blessings then therefore become rewards from your charity, your trading your hard work, your life, which is your love, for money. And you trade money out for your third eye. When you meditate and you are just one with yourself in singularity, you will see your third eye activate. And all of a sudden you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing and where you're supposed to be, which is right there at that very moment in time. For those who have connected with this, understand every word of what I'm saying to be the absolute true truth. Because the truth only comes from principles, and principles only comes out of the affairs of nature, Mother Earth. You only find freedom, real, true natural freedom, in nature, the only perfect system which always provides. A good example of this is on your 2 acres, you planting seeds that are heirloom from nature, the original authentic seed. You plant these things by pushing them in the ground with your own hands, and out of this, getting your feet and your hands dirty, you create, say, a perennial. The beauty of perennials is they come back each year. I'm not talking about annuals. So, say 2 acres, you had all 2 acres of annuals, different things, persimmons, lime, cantaloupe, watermelon, figs, oranges, plums, peaches, apples, which may produce every 2 years. Regardless, you have so much variations of these perennials, and guess what? The seeds they drop, or the fruits that drop, they feed their own selves, self-sustaining system. Moringa, the leaves can actually be used as a fertilizer. It will minerally enrich all soil that it's around. It's a miracle plant, right? So with this knowledge that I'm giving and passing on to you is education, which you can take and then learn and develop and actually prolong on your own, meaning that you can enhance your own experiences that I'm talking about. You can figure out on your own. You can go and test it out, test the waters. You can, develop your own techniques as well. So that's the beauty of all this, is that it is a self-efficient, self-sustained, system where you get to be the creator, the leader, the founder, and the foundation, the fundamental infrastructure to your own design, your jungle, your kingdom. This is when you have your kingdom. You live off the land, you thrive, etc. So, and the best part about this is when you do this right, which you can't screw this up, then these perennials drop seeds and you'll have other plants. I had a tomato that, because I didn't spray it, I used moringa. It was a natural herbicide, natural pesticide. It took care of my heirloom tomatoes. Each year, some of the tomatoes we wouldn't eat, they'd fall. You get to feed the caterpillars and the different animals, the different creatures or insects, which is beautiful because you have so much abundance. they come to you, and this system begins to work down to the worms. See, pesticides and all this stuff, conventional soils, it actually kills the worms. That poop is the B12 and the other minerals, what is providing these plants with minerals to uptake deeper rocks and minerals, life that's deeper into the soil. So actually, like pesticides and conventional fertilizers, Miracle Grow, these things have chemicals in it that actually are not organic. And no matter what it says organic on it, doesn't determine that it's actually quality organic. Compost is a thing of reasoning. Taking the old stuff that you eat, the rinds, the husk, the throwaways of your crops can be thrown into a pile and made perfect mineral-rich fertilizer and compost. So with that, you feed your plants just like you feed yourself. So the soil is the tree or the plant's stomach. In essence, there is a sustainable permaculture that goes on where you never have to till. God, Mother Earth, doesn't go outside and water her. There's nobody that waters or fertilizes these plants out here in the forest or the jungle. The rain is the watering. The worms and the pollinators, the bees, are the ones that are sustaining this perfect system. So dare I say, you get perennials after a year or 2 or 5 years down the road, everything maturing and in its own beautiful oasis. It creates abundance where you no longer have to do any work at all. The work has been done, the cycle is set in motion, and like a pendulum, an electromagnetic life force event takes place, and that is that everything is self-sustaining in and of its own self. And every single one of us can experience this beautiful, miraculous experience living off the land. And when you see these things in your trees, it's like entertainment, okay? It's like you don't want to sit on the couch and be a couch potato eating pizza and watching these different entertainments which keep you distracted from this sole purpose. Some people are so far away from this being a reality, and people would say, Eric, that's not what I want to do. I'm not cut out for this. It's not what I feel that's right for me. There's a lot of people that identify with that, okay? But in the same sense, it doesn't matter. It's what you're supposed to be doing. There's no way of negating the fact that if this is what everyone's called to do, then the cause of effect becomes why. The reasoning that after you've got your 7-year degree, you become a PhD, you end up landing this incredible job, you're locked into 40 years of debt, 20 years of loans, okay? And you wonder, how do I get out of this? And oh, that sounds like a delight, Eric, what you're talking about, but I'm already tied into this life construct hell that I've created for myself. Well, first of all, that's what they offer to you. This is why you don't know any different, but you can still leave the hell and enter back into the kingdom. The Garden of Eden, it becomes your own choice. Saving up money, leaving. Once you have your own land, if you want to do it this right way, that's yours. It's in writing, if that matters to you. Regardless, if you care about your family, if you care about yourself, your health, your serenity, your peace, your happiness, you're looking for it, you want to know where it's at. This is the only source of true happiness that you can find in this matrix. And so you can do all those things and say, well, Eric, I can't do all that. It seems like a lot. But when you do it, you will find that the peace, the serenity, the bliss, the joy, the happiness, the gentleness and forbearance of nature, your own gardening, your reward to your own crops and development. That is the entertainment. That is the sure essence of life, the beauty of creation and the miracle of this cycle, this circle of life, the Ouroboros, that all things work in a circle, in a cycle. So that is where we're supposed to be heading. And I'm giving you all these tools of information and knowledge. You have to go out and be willing to do it. And yeah, for those who are truly blessed, those are the ones who will leave this country because it's not tropical. You can't live off the land. It's not 80 degrees year round. So we lived in an accursed infrastructure. Basically, it's the cause of effects for us stealing this land, for all the harm, death, suffering, warmongering, and you support it through your taxation. So that's your curse. Each and every single person in this country and who is listening to this is cursed today, hexed with the plague of taxation under the guise of freedom, liberty, and this pursuit of happiness. Did you know it used to be freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of land? Because people were happy when they had their own land. So if you don't have your own land, if you don't living off the land, you have to rely on the grocery store. You have to rely on other farmers. There's never been a time 70 years ago where people didn't rely on anything but the own produce of their own hands, their own seed. They grew their own produce basically from themselves or their family, okay? So when you rely on other farmers, you get what you get, which you get sick. You end up going to a pharmacy instead of a farm that you see, that you grow, okay? And I'm not saying don't go to a farmer and buy his produce, but you can do most of it yourself. And then who's to say you can't barter what you grow, superfoods, durian, soursop, moringa, and barter with something that you don't have that you want? It's a perfect system. Barter trade, living off the land, sustainable permaculture. Check out Ubuntu. There's a guy who actually scientifically proves this. So we live off of a system where we are being rewarded by the abundance of a banking system, interest and bonds, and a stock market, even with bitcoins, a monetary system, okay? But money, paper, does not feed the human body, and it doesn't enrich the thoughtful human soul like the therapy that gardening and growing and living off the land actually does. There is no better life than living a dream in reality, where you pick a coconut or a mango, an apple off of the tree, wildcrafted. You consume it to enrich your body's immune system, to build it up, and to enhance and activate the brain with electrical angstroms that really enhance your whole being and homeostasis, your state of well-being. Then you can sleep in peace, be in bliss, and in this matrix you get to live the kingdom of heaven. You don't have to wait and die for it. We die, we go back to it either way. So this leads me to the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. The very actions of rebellion against the king taught the people of the world that the government had no natural right over them. So these things were taught, it taught the whole earth that they owed government and authority, and where they could gather, the authority, over nothing. It told people that authority should never tell them that what they could say, how they could worship, what they could print, and where they could go gather. So it told people that the law enforcement is, law enforcement is a dangerous animal, and they ought to be able and willing to defend themselves against it. It taught people that government and authority can be limited, right? It taught people that they were worth more than law. So this was the Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, okay, over the king. This mighty step taken in the pattern of liberty has nothing to do with democracy or government. The power and beauty of this step was that the anti-culture created by men of rebellion, okay, they attacked every leg of authority by teaching people about the measure of their own worth. The experiment was proven successful. Freedom for people does not create anarchy. America is not perfect, and they are worthy of ruling their own lives. The pattern of tyranny will be broken. Okay. the American dream is not an American dream, it's a human dream. This was a giant, okay? This was a giant stair climbed on the backs of heroes towards the freedom of men. And it will not be the last. Because now we're dealing with this, but with, we're dealing with a democracy now. So that's the competition of freedom. Leads me to the competition of freedom. As people are able to look beyond the tyranny of their own lives to diverge cultures on earth, they will see a competition for freedom. The lure of freedom will be evidenced by the technology, prosperity, and peace of freer peoples. They will ask why it is noble for them to obey certain laws, but not the rest of the world. They will see that those things which are demanded of them are not natural, that they are tyranny. The pattern of liberty progresses every time the lies of culture are discovered and understood. Though cultures are designed to maintain tight control of the minds of people so that they cannot see the tyranny over them, witnessing freedom can break the bonds nearly instantly. This is why they don't like it when I post a lot of stuff on beliefs on Facebook and things. It's why they've removed 6 of my accounts. When I show a freer, happier nation or option, and people want to get away, because the smartest people in America are leaving America, they get upset. That angers them and instills them to violence and anger. So when the violence of dying cultures runs out and freedom peaks out of every dark place on earth, the people of the world will begin a competition for freedom. See, when there is freedom to move and shop for jurisdictions, you will find that people move to freer societies, not stricter ones. Moreover, elements of evil will gravitate to more restricted societies because they are easier to exert control over them. This is the final chapter for evil in the world today. Finally, technology, communications, and wisdom, it frees people to evade authority, and they will do so with every increasing effectiveness. This is the completion of the pattern of liberty. This is where evil ends. So I am so honored. I love that today I get to be the voice of reasoning to why people will be free in this nation. It's people like myself and others who are following and even sharing and doing their own videos that are waking up millions of people across the nation. Okay? Millions of people living in tyranny and not even aware. Not even aware. And the one thing that many people who are subjected to complacency, they're happy in their cage. They'll say, Eric, don't unlock my cage. Don't free me. I enjoy my enslavement. I like it here. If you don't like it here, you need to leave. Well, and the best reply to that, if any of you give that for sharing this video, is that no, you don't have to leave anywhere. This is your land. You are valuable. There is no one to push you out of your home, which is you, wherever you are, is your home. Your heart is where the home is. So therefore, you can never be homeless. To be homeless means to be dead or outside of your body. Okay? So there is no legitimacy to the statement that you are homeless or that you are wrong for wanting to be free. So let me break this down, because I'm a guy who likes to actually end. I like to begin with the truth and end with the absolute true truth. But I also like to end all segmentations with the reality of a solution. Because for every problem in this life, no matter what, in the matrix, demiurge, you name it, there is always going to be a solution which reigns free to all those who wish to obtain it. So we have my whiteboard here. I wanted to see if I can get that bird to... If it puts a hat on him. Nope. This is Blue the bird, which blue is always symbolically represented God. The absolute true truth. And free yourself, by the way. Get one of these moringa trees from us. It helps support our message and what we're doing. We have a 10% sale going on. This is lush, rare, heirloom organic moringa. Okay. So, solution time, right? There's a lot of mystical things that we're unaware of being boxed up in this matrix demiurge cage. You know, the cube unfolds to a cross, right? This used to be the cross, which meant afterlife under the dome. I've got other videos to talk about that. So the solution, going down to the black sun, which is the subconsciousness, which is the inner consciousness. This is what science will call it, sub or inner layer. It'll always have your back, your higher self. If you look at the word self, El, self, Elohim, many gods, takes you back to that. So the solution is to do what you have to do now, right? Live now. Of course, have fun. Enjoy life. Okay? But no, in any type or form of enslavement, you could interchange enslavement if you notice the word became employment. Isn't that amazing how similar they sound? It's because they're virtually interchangeable. You don't want to go to work. Just be slave. No one wants to work. Everybody wants wealth. They want money. But what does wealth and money entail? Well, of course, it's supposed to take you to freedom, right? That's why we say financial freedom is probably number one on people's live now or priority. So the best advice I have is communicating, connecting this same message, having the courage, wisdom, power, strength, encouragement, inner encouragement. So to yourself, knowing right around the corner, your higher self is taking care of everything, all your needs. And you can call it God, and you can even pray to it. And that, in essence, is the very foundation of what we've been doing at the efficacies of Abbaboobo, okay? Because that is the ultimate solution. Now, there are lots of mystical things, as I was saying, even the Kabbalic view. We're very simple godlike creatures, creating your own code, your own language, your own symbols of recognizing, of never forgetting that you are God and you have power for solution. Nobody wants oppression or enslavement or, any sort of pain and suffering, which a lot of this life is about. So how do we overcome that? What is the solution? As I'm saying, we are creating the first real network of activism, truth, right now, as we have thousands of people following and thousands of people liking. We've got different pages, 16,000, 100,000, 50,000, all these people. So you're not alone. I love it. It's really easy to get people to jump on board when you understand everybody wants to be free, right? Who doesn't want freedom? So we're going to get into the magnet of what you can do as a solution. Okay, first, here's some set guidelines. You have a driver's license, you pay property tax, you pay rent, all this stuff. Saving money on the side, so quitting any vices, okay? Getting healthy becomes like crucial importance, extreme importance. So quitting smoking, alcohol, drugs, if you're on it, excessive food that you don't need, consumption. Okay, so quitting vices. Okay, because you're actually supporting the enslavement. When you do these things, you support your enslavement. Okay? You support the enslavement. They're interchangeable. So to free yourself, even from debt, which is death, if you watch my other videos, you live your whole life dead. Okay? So in a sense, they know you are a dead or walking undead creature. You're a walking undead. They're a vampire sucking you dry of your energy, your energies, which is your memories. So they wish to take your memories away. They don't want you to have a life or fun. Okay? They do this by, like I said, promising you the guise of liberty and freedom, and then law, which is lies, authority, which is also lies. There should be no authority over you. Okay, so they take away your energy, memories, your life, and your fun. But you do that, okay, you allow that, self-induced, when you have your birth certificate, all that stuff, you actually are asking for it. It's mindless, because you're not thinking about it until now. Self-indulgence. You're indulging in all the cookies in the cookie jars that they give you, but you don't ask, what is this going to cost me? It will cost you maybe your health, which is your freedom, because your health is your greatest wealth. Okay? Where do you see yourself in a year from now, 6 months from now, a month from now, 5 years and 10 years from now? So it starts with doing things that you'll pat yourself on the back for later. Just doing these things automated. When you don't think about these things, then they're going to consume you, they're going to take you over, and they're going to destroy you. Your own vices, debt, and loans equals death. You would be better off living poor, as they call it. You don't need all these technologies, these tangible things, these items. No. Save that money. Save money. or pay off. And then once you get to the payoff, sell everything. Get gold, silver, whatever it is you have to do. Sell everything. Pay off everything, save everything. Pay off everything, save money always to the side. If you gotta get bitcoins or some sort of investment, it's gonna go up. Okay? Gold, silver, platinum, palladium, whatever. Remain poor. Okay? For right now. When you save up your money, like I said, we have options available where you can buy land. Okay? You can snapshot this, write this down. Okay? So the first thing is to quit your vices, right? To be free. Know the enemy is that they've set up these vices, these debts, these things in your path. While they do these things and they get away with it, and the destruction is bad, the things that they're doing in the name of government, in the name of your taxation, they kill, go to war, they oppress, create apartheid, okay, steal land, steal homes from other people who are living in peace. So that is about to end. So again, you have right now, which is the most important, because you are valuable. You're the utmost value. You are valuable. You're a miracle. You're capable. You're powerful. You're a miracle, capable of all sorts of things. Okay? So you are valuable. So with that said, you know, you may have your companion, family, okay, and work with them. They want to destroy and break the family, your companion, maybe you have friends. So what we want to do, we have created the Moringa tribe, for instance, where all can come, you know, quit the vices, so quit vices, save money, right? So then it leads you to buy land if you must, or squat if you're smart enough, crafty enough. Get land, I'd say Central, South America. We have more information on that, and we're uploading a video on that that will blow your mind. When you see the freedom and sovereignty, the air, the fresh air that you breathe, all things are better. Okay, so buy it, squat out Central America. You'll experience true freedom. Okay, and liberty and sovereignty. Isn't that amazing how tree is almost like true? It's because they're interchangeable. Truth is out with the trees, Mother Earth, okay? So you buy the land, Remember, save. Another thing to save is your seed vault. Make sure to get heirloom organic seeds. Heirloom organic seeds. Get things that you like. You know? We've got kratom, we got moringa, you know, there's durian, there's ice cream bean plant, there's all kinds of really cool stuff. And I'm not going to tell you all my secrets, what I'm doing. If you're part of the Moringa tribe, you'll be inheriting a lot of amazing wisdom that I have, okay? You got the 13th dynasty, they'll be a part of that, and the Moringa tribe, the Moringa cryptic kingdom. It's really basically this easy. So you quit your vices, right? All the junk. You're going to be better off, you're going to be healthier, consuming fresh fruits, veggies, and nuts, changing your lifestyle, saving your money, right? Your family, working with your family, companion, your loved ones, your friends. You know, when everybody is healthy, you'll find that everybody, we're all good. We all have this common thread. We want peace, and we all connect. But when we're acidic in nature, it's drama, it's strife, it's these lower frequency things, right? Acidic, negative, static. Negative is grounded. Positive is that electrifying force that makes the electromagnetic energy called actions, proactions, okay? Which leads to prosperity, heaven, freedom, bliss within. Okay? Those actions you take are going to be the reward, the abundance, the constant gift of the divine love that you will receive from sowing these organic seeds in your land you bought. Right? So you bought the land, you put the seeds. It's really simple. You can't screw this up because you have good soil. You put the seeds in, you can water it, whatever. You'll see them grow. Whatever you like. Every day, imagine not having to go rush to a job, stress about, did I get enough sleep? Did I go to work? What do I got to do today? What? Energy. I need to get up and be doing something constantly, or you're lazy, right? And this will give you things you want to do. You know, people say, oh, I don't want to just be retired early, not do anything. Yes, you do. You will experience bliss. You've been habitually trained to believe you're lazy if you don't slave and constantly at work 9 to 5. When you find the freedom of this, 40 years later, you won't get sick from this lifestyle. The lifestyle you're currently living in, working in an office space, in a building, constantly not grounded, barefoot, not living off the land in nature. You hear nature, you connect and communicate with it. This is your divine calling. Everyone's. I'm right about this. I'm not wrong. And you never will be wrong about this. Divine love calling. Okay? So like I said, so we quit the vices, meat, dairy, and eggs, anything acidic in your body, junk food, processed crap that makes you acidic. Smoking, drinking, drugs, just put it all on the table. Get rid of it. Write a list of pros and cons. If it's not on the pros, if the people are not on the pros, you got your cons, which are your con men, and your pros, which are electrical. You want the electrical things, the magnetic things you gravitate towards. Cons could be magnetic, but you got to watch out for the cons, right? So you put it on both sides. You determine what you want, because you have value, remember? So what you want. And I want you to say 5 times out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you want? Say them out loud. I want this life, this divine love calling. I want to live off the land. I want these heirloom organic seeds. I want to be financially free. Just scratch that off entirely. I don't want to rely on money at all. You don't need money with this system. It's a perfect, sustainable, self-sustaining system. It works. It's perfect. There's no flaws in Mother Earth. Okay? You could call it Mother Earth. A lot of people relate to GAIA, Black Sun, Sophia, Aurora Borealis. By even calling out their name, the connection, the unconditional consciousness is setting all this in motion for me, and I hope it's setting it in motion for you. Because don't think or don't say that someone out there did not lay out a solution for you. And solutions always are simple. Mother Earth is very simple. We make it simplex or complex. There's no reason to complex this. Okay, with all these different intricacies like taxes and interest and bonds and investments and money and growth and investment. That all seems fun, but what are you buying for? What are you buying into? A scam. You don't need these cars, fancy pools, houses, these high rises. It was nice at first, but again, technology has not kept up with ethics. Ethics has not kept up with technology. They do not coincide. So that's the cons of living in this culture construct, matrix demiurge. But now you subconsciously can pray to the divine love and the inner earth of the black sun. You can pray for these good things. That's the solution. I'm telling you, it's all there, waiting for you, right around the corner. But all you have to do is sow the idea in your heart. Once your heart is activated, this is where you are going to go, and by doing these actions, it's going to make it possible, a reality, a real reality. So that's the joy and abundance in all of this, to this solution. Of course you're going to have sometimes problems come up, but no matter what, You can just sit on your hammock. You can, you know, consume your paradise. You got your palm trees in paradise. You got your coconuts. See the coconut there? Okay. Barefoot. See that? Paradise. Palm trees. You could sleep all day. You can go do things all day. Whatever it is that you want to do. You've got your produce. You got your things growing over there. Maybe you got your little hut. You know, we show you how you can take that money you saved and you can buy you a simple little hut that you can live out of. You know, it's really kind of a simple life. And this is why so many people are depressed and all this stuff, because they don't realize that this is where they're supposed to be headed. They just needed that direction. Isn't it amazing how they don't make this an option to leave the land and live off the land? You know, it's as simple. It's very simplex. Because I understand the complexity as you live in the Western world. You live here, USA. Is the complex part is getting from here to the simple life here, paradise. This is the paradise. This is the kingdom of heaven. This is why people say, Eric, we'll leave this country, or whatever. Yes, there is no better dream than when we leave and we don't have to hear about Trump or Hillary and this terrorist attack and this inside job, this false flag, this fake news. You can cut all of it off. You won't hear about it another day in your life. You will finally experience true freedom. And when you're free indeed. And you'll never forget what I'm saying. It's just getting there. It's like I said, plan on it in 1 year or 5 years from now. And cut off the whole job. You know, cost of living, tax is virtually nothing down there. Cost of living, to have $10,000 is to live like a king. If you've got $100,000, you're definitely living like a king or queen down there. You get you your little mini home, you'll never have to work or worry a day in your life. And then imagine the things you grow, you can barter and trade, right? I mean, this is a perfect life. I knew a guy who did this. He has 3 wives and he's living in Costa Rica. He is living the dream. Living the dream. Okay? Yes, you won't hear this message anywhere. You know, the real estate agents and all the different people in between and advertisers, marketers, they want to keep us in this matrix structure, this construct of evil. They want you to continue to work every day and take your check and live off paycheck to paycheck, buying your gas, buying your car, getting in that loan, suckered in. You're living for your car, right, to pay it off, and you're going to your job, and it depreciates the value of that car as you're paying for gas and insurance. You know, in 2 years, maybe 5 years, or even longer, to pay off that car, you know, it takes, and then the car doesn't work anymore. So you literally worked for the past 5 years of your important life to pay off a hunk of metal on wheels that goes to work and back home, and then don't even get me started on your own apartment, your house, your utilities, your light, your energy. Is it really worth all this? Netflix, or you're watching movies, your video games. I mean, you can even do all that down here. There's nothing you can't have in this little hut down there. You can have Wi-Fi, you could have electricity, you can have, of course, well water, and what I'm talking about in particular has the #1 water on the planet, okay? So you're going to always be healthy, you're going to become more young, vigilant, you're going to feel more energy, you're going to be happy, you're going to be so damn proud of yourself that you made the right choice. You made the choice. You did. Because you're the one that did it. made the right choice to go back to the Garden of Heaven, Shambhala, which is in the inner earth, and it can always be an option to be experienced now. You have to balance both sides first. If you're still in a matrix demiurge of living for one side, political party, a religious belief system, propaganda, politica, or, some orientation, a label, title, word, label, entitlement that's in a club, a cult, organization, church, some sort of building,